Hey guys. So obviously I'm not in school today. Sorry, my daughter is sick. So you're probably going to hear Sesame Street songs in the background. But I wanted to just review counting atoms with you real quick. So in case that you were still a little confused, I hope this can help clarify for you. So let's start with something simple. So if you're doing a formula like this, where you have C6H12O6, you've got the little subscripts like the 6, the 12, and the 6. All you have to do is remember that you're identifying the number of elements, which are the number of capital letters, so C, H, and O, and the little subscripts go with the capital letter to their left. So C6 goes with C, H goes with 12, and then 6 goes with O. So then our total is C6. Yep. Oh, Lily, what did you do? H12, O6, so the total count will be 24 atoms. All right, the next one is CO2. There's nothing written next to C, so we assume it's a 1, and there's a 2O. So it's C1O2 together to get a total of 3 atoms. Okay, so S2HO4. 2 S's, 1 H, 4 O's to get a grand total of 7 atoms. All right, so when we put something in front, though, this is called the coefficient. And the coefficient applies to the entire molecule. So if we look at it and break it down, okay, we have 1 carbon, 2 oxygens, but we have to multiply it by 2 because think of it as distribution. So if you see where I have the red 2, all right, this is kind of corresponding down here. So we need to multiply like what it would be as if there was no coefficient. We have to multiply it by 2, and we get a total of 6 atoms. And I can show the distribution here. Okay, think of it like a math problem. 2 gets distributed to C, 2 also gets distributed to however many oxygen molecules there are. Okay, so now the more complicated thing is the parentheses, and I think this is where most of you are getting tripped up. So I've highlighted the parenthesis subscript out here so that you can follow along when I start multiplying it. So this subscript 3 goes with the Cu, which is copper. No subscript with P, so we assume it's a 1. And we've got a 4 going with O. So there is 3 coppers because there's nothing else around it and there's nothing in front of it. So it's just 3 coppers. With phosphorus, however, all right, we know that there's 1 phosphorus, but because it's inside the parenthesis, this little 2 has to apply to it as well. So we have 1 times 2 to give us a total of 2, and then we have 4 times 2, which gives us 8, and that's 13 atoms. And if you follow the distribution of the 2, you can see that the 2 applies to this and the 2 applies to here. It does not apply to copper because it's not inside the parenthesis. Al2SO4, okay, so we have the same thing. The 2 goes with Al, and there we go. All right, so we've got 1 S and 4 O's. Multiply them out. Okay, nothing goes with the aluminum except for the 2, so it's just 2 aluminums. We've got 1 sulfur, then multiply by the 2 on the outside. And then for the oxygen, we have 4, and then we multiply by the 2 on the outside, which is 8, and we get a total of 12 atoms. And it's distributed just like the previous example. Okay. Now, let's do one that's a little more complicated where we have a coefficient in front. And so what I want you to do is to follow the colors. So whenever I have a red 2, the red 2 represents the coefficient being multiplied, and whenever I have a subscript 2, that's the subscript being multiplied. So you can kind of follow along and see how much multiplication has to happen. All right, so let's just pretend that there's no coefficient. Just look at the basic formula. So Cu, there's 3, 1 phosphorus, 4 oxygens. We distribute the 2, and then later on we'll distribute the front two. All right. And of course, I think I forgot to put the colors in this one. So copper, there's 3, and then we need to multiply it by the coefficient 2 to give us 6. All right, for the next one, it's better. So phosphorus, there's 1 phosphorus, but then we want to do the parentheses. It's just like PEMDAS. Okay, so parentheses, exponents, etc. So parentheses first, and then we're gonna do the coefficient multiplication. So we have 1 times 2, which is 2, and then multiply it by the coefficient. Do the coefficient multiplication at the end if you're getting confused, okay? So it's a total of 4. Hi, Lily. What do you want? Do you want this? Here you go. Here, do you want to play with this? Hold on a second, guys. Sorry. I'm going to try to get her to, I don't even know what she wants to watch. YouTube videos on my Amazon Prime. Oh my goodness gracious. Here. All right. For oxygen, right, we have 4 oxygens, and we multiply it by our little subscript 2 to get a total of 8. And then we have to multiply it by the coefficient 2, so 8 times 2 is 16. And you can do this, you could just do this by hand. Just do 4 times 2 times 2, 8 times 2 is 16, okay? And then we have a grand total of 26 atoms. Okay, for the next one, we have 2Al2SO4 2. So we have the Al, the S, and the O. We have Al, 2 times 2, which is 4. S, there's 1 S. We multiply by the little 2 to get 2. And then we multiply by the coefficient, which is 2. Multiply the coefficient 2, which is 4. And we get a total of 4. And then the same thing with the oxygen. We have 4 oxygens. Multiply by the subscript. And then multiply by the coefficient to get 16. And then you have 24 atoms. All right, and that's that, guys. Ask your classmates, get these worksheets done. We are going to have a mini quiz in the beginning of class. Please be prepared. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.